here and get started. Good evening to everybody. Hope you are doing well today. My name is Cheree. I'm your favorite lender here at Simply Funded. At Simply Funded, we help individuals build a real estate portfolio. And that portfolio starts with your own home. So I am licensed in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, soon to be licensed in Tennessee. They've already approved me, but my license actually like really launches in January in Tennessee, and I've got a couple of other states where I'm going to be licensed in for you to buy your own like primary residence. But then from there, you will want to build your portfolio with other rental properties, fix and flip, things like that. And I am able to help people nationwide get the funding that you're looking for in order to build that real estate portfolio. So you can always call or text us at 571-583-4600, and we would love an opportunity to serve you. So what I'm going to do today, this takes about 20 minutes for me to go through. I'm going to share my screen here and just go through a little bit with regards to show me the money, getting funding for your real estate deals, just as a way for you to think about how to get the money that you're looking for in order to, again, start and grow your real estate portfolio. So there are some loan programs that you may not know about. There are loan programs for you to buy a property and what we call flip it, fix and flip. So you buy it, you renovate it, you resell it, and you make a profit from that. You can also fix and rent the property. You may buy something, it just may need carpet and paint, or it could need all sorts of renovations done to the house. So over the weekend, I had a client call and there was a property she was looking at and it needed a new roof. And we were figuring out, like, hey, how can she get this property funded? And I gave her some information with regards to that. You may find a property that doesn't need any fixing, and it just is a property that you're going to purchase and rent out long term. There's a couple of really great loan products with regards to that. Low down payment. Sometimes people come to me and say, hey, Cheree, I don't have a lot of money. I want to get something with very little money down. What can I do? We're going to talk about that tonight. And sometimes you need gap funding as well. Gap funding is basically money for down payments or closing costs or things like that. So we're going to have that conversation tonight as well. So when you're thinking about building a portfolio, you are thinking about, do you need cash? Do you need cash today? Um, if you're going to need cash today, or you're aiming for cash today, you're looking at either being a bird dog or a wholesaler. Or are you okay with waiting 30, 60, 90, 120 even days, even a year? Well, if you're looking for cash in that 1 year period of time, within that 1 year period of time, you may be looking at buying something, renovating it, and reselling it. So fix and flip is what you may be looking at. You may say, hey, you know what? I want cash flow. If you want cash flow, you are looking at something that you can rent long term. And that does not necessarily mean it's a long-term rental. It could be a medium-term rental. It could be a short-term rental. You are just looking for things that you can make money from with regards to cash flow. The other thing that people look at is appreciation. So I spoke to a woman last week where she buys properties and she's not necessarily concerned about the cash flow as long as she doesn't lose money on the property from cash flow, as long as the mortgage can pay for the rent. Sorry, the rent can pay for the mortgage. She's perfectly fine with that. Her whole thing is she plays the appreciation game. And there are people who will say, hey, I want it all. I want cash today, I want cash flow, and I want appreciation. I will admit that getting all three it's pretty difficult to get. Um, there are some people who are able to get two of the three. That will depend on where you're purchasing in the United States, like what areas you're purchasing in, things like that. But usually I do suggest that as people are starting their journey, you kind of focus on one thing. Is it, hey, I need cash, I want cash, great. Then become a wholesaler and make five to $10,000 per wholesale deal that you're doing and do three, four, five, 10 a year. That's great cash that's coming into your pocket. Or you may say, hey, you know what? I want to start building a rental portfolio and get cash flow. The average cash flow is going to be about $200 to $400 a month for your long-term rentals. Short-term rentals, there's a gentleman named Aaron Kavanaugh in our network, and he teaches you how to maximize your income for short-term rentals. And there are some people who are making $60,000 to $100,000 a year net profit with their short-term rentals, but you got to buy it right and you got to know how to manage it. And then some people, again, are playing the appreciation play. So just something to think about when you're thinking about how you're going to build your portfolio. What are you actually looking for? Also understand this, that every deal needs cash and credit. It doesn't necessarily have to be your cash. It doesn't have to necessarily be your credit. There are people who have cash partners. There are people who have credit partners. I have clients that have a partner that is helping with the cash and the credit, and they bring the property and they bring the deal. That's perfectly fine. However, however, every deal is going to need cash and credit of some sort. So one of the great places to find your cash and credit partners is the Grid Real Estate Investment Network. Grid is spelled GRID, and you can go to gridinvestor.com in order to find some local meetings. One of the great things about going to the local meetings is you get to see people face to face, you get to build your network, and then as you find deals, you're able to contact people and say, hey, you mentioned you have money, you mentioned you have credit, I've got a property, let's come together and let's partner and make some money. So when we're looking at fixing and flipping, hold on one second. Let me just move this. There we go. All right. If we're looking at fixing and flipping, you'll usually get a loan that's either 6 months or 12 months, 6 month or 12-month loans. And you don't necessarily, as somebody who is getting started, want to buy the house that's falling apart, as this one is in the photo here. You will look for properties when you're just getting started that maybe need carpet and paint, maybe appliances, something like that, that is super easy for you to do. Buy it and get it on the market within 30 days. But you are able to get these loans with a 660 credit score or higher. The down payments are anywhere from 15% to 35% down. We have a lender that will lend you, let's say, 80% or 85% of the purchase price, and then they will lend you 100% of the construction cost. And these are interest-only loans that you're able to get. You're going to close in 10 to 30 days. And the more experience you have, the better the terms are going to be. So again, starting off super simple with maybe finding a property that needs carpet, paint, maybe appliances, something like that. Maybe it does need a roof, but finding something that does not require a full gut renovation and being able to use that as your first property that you are fixing and flipping. One thing that I will tell you as a lender that I see most people struggle with is finding the contractor. Finding a good, reliable contractor is the absolute hardest thing to do. So again, that's why you want to be in Grid Network. Don't necessarily assume that the cheapest contractor is the best. The most expensive contractor is the one who doesn't show up. So, if you've got somebody who may charge you another $5,000, they have another $5,000 on the bid, but they're super reliable, then I always suggest you get that individual, because you don't want to extend your holding cost for these properties. If you want to fix the property up and rent it, you've got a couple of options. The first one is something called the home style renovation loan. Home style renovation loan is a loan that only requires you to go to the closing table one time. Happen to love this loan. I've done a couple of them. This loan is a conventional loan. So you will have to give W-2s, you might have to give taxes, if you are self-employed business owner, sometimes those are kind of tough to get these kinds of loans, just because my self-employed people love to take a lot of expenses off on their taxes. But if you have a W-2, you make enough money, you want to do the one-time close homestyle renovation loan, this is an option for you. So you could buy the property with this loan. You can renovate the property with this loan, and you're able to rent it out. And you don't have to go to the closing table. You don't have to refinance it, nothing like that. During the purchase and renovation phase of this loan, for the homestyle renovation loan, you're going to pay interest only. You're going to make interest only payments. And then when when the renovations are done, it's automatically going to convert into a 30-year fixed loan. So I really like this loan. The other thing with this loan is you can, let's say you want to turn a property from a 1 unit to a 2 unit. You can do that. You've got to get please, please, please get your permits in order to do that, but that is possible. Or you want to add a wall, or you want to take a wall down, or you want to fix the landscaping or the roof, or you got HVAC issues or electrical issues or anything like that. This loan is very good with giving you the funding in order to do that. Option two is two different loans. So the first step for option two is you're going to get a 12-month loan. It's called a hard money loan. You're going to get that 12-month loan in order to buy and renovate the property. It is an interest only payment for the up to 12 months that you are buying, that you bought the property and you're renovating it. And then you're going to rent the property out, and then you're going to refinance that property into a 30-year loan. So the difference between option one and option two is option two, you will have two sets of closing costs for option two. But option two is really great for my self-employed people. Option two is better for individuals who don't have super high incomes, where you don't necessarily want or cannot get a conventional loan. Option two is for people who don't want the lender in all your business. You don't want to hand over your taxes and your W-2 and all of that stuff. Option two is the way to go. If you don't mind going through a little bit more paperwork and all of that, then the homestyle renovation loan is the way to go. So if you find a rental property and you want to purchase it and you want to rent it out, and you want a 30-year loan, the DSCR loan is the loan for you. It's a fancy term, debt service coverage ratio, fancy term, simple concept. Can the rent pay the mortgage? Can the rent pay the mortgage? If the answer is yes, the rent can pay the mortgage, and you have at least a 660 credit score, and you have the money to put down, about 20% to put down, you're approved. Is that simple, right? Obviously, you have to go through appraisal and title and all of that. But I'm just saying, overall, the three things you got to have: can the rent pay the mortgage? Do you have a 660 or higher credit score? And do you have the 20% to put down? If that's the case, then you're approved. A couple of questions you may have is, well, Cheree, can I get lower than 20% down payment? We have one lender that does 15% down payment. However, if you're willing to put down 20% down payment, we're able to shop your loan to multiple lenders and get the best deal for you. The other question is it always 20% down? No. If you're buying a property in a rural or a remote area, I have seen these DSCR loans, the requirement for them be 35% down payment. So you do want to, if you are concerned about how much money you're putting down, you do want to stay in a city or a suburb for these properties that you're purchasing. But they're great because it's limited documentation. These are 30-year fixed loans. The approval again is based on the property income. You could be unemployed, you can be underemployed, they don't care about your income, they don't care about your taxes. You will have to have something called reserves, but they don't care if you have $500,000, in a stock portfolio or anything like that. You just need to have enough money to account for, like, usually it's 12 months of reserves. Basically meaning, can you pay for the mortgage for 12 months? So if the mortgage is $2,000, do you have $24,000 sitting in an IRA or, your stock portfolio or something like that? So these loans are for 1 to 4 units, and actually we have a lender that will do up to 8 units. So, you know, if you do not have a primary residence, if you don't own your own home, the caveat is it is harder to get this kind of loan. But I do have a borrower who was very close to getting this loan. He ended up backing out at the end of the day because of some personal stuff, but that is the one caveat. So, all right, you say, Cheree, I want a low down payment. 20% is too much. What can I do? You're going to have to buy the property as your primary residence. So, if you already own a property, you would need to buy that new property as a primary residence and rent out your current property that you live in. That's the only way to get the super low down payments. You can get anywhere from 3% to 5% down that way. These are conventional loans or FHA loans. You could buy up to 4 units by doing this. The FHA loans, the FICO or credit score is as low as 580. The higher your credit go, the better the terms. So still have, as good a credit as possible, but you're able to get in with, 580 credit score. The caveat, if you are purchasing something that is a 1 unit or a 2 unit and you're doing any kind of house hacking or anything like that, you must be able to afford the mortgage completely on your own. So again, sometimes people will say, oh, Cheree, I'm going to house hack. I'm going to buy this property. I'm going to house hack. Okay, great. No problem. But the lender, and this is federal guidelines. This is not us. This is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. This is federal guidelines. You have to be able to afford that house on your own. And again, we had talked about the home style renovation loan before, but you can use that instead of putting 20% down as an investor, you could put 5% down as the primary residence and turn that 1 unit property into a 2 unit property by using that home style renovation loan. So we can definitely go over that more when we have our conversations, you and I. And then gap funding, there's a couple of different options that I have. Credit cards are available. I have a couple of vendors that, will offer you credit cards, 0% interest rates for up to 18 months. Also, if your credit is not the best, but you do have $25,000 or more from a 401k at a job that you are no longer at, or an IRA or something like that from a job you're no longer at, there's another opportunity for you that I have as well. The gap funding is only for investor properties, investor loans, investor properties. I should say more investor loans, right? And you need to tell me if you need to use this before you go shopping for a property, because there's some lenders that will there's certain lenders we cannot use gap funding with. So you just need to let me know, because that way I can make sure I can steer clear from those specific lenders that are not going to accept gap funding. These cannot be used for conventional loans. They can't be used for FHA loans. This is again specifically for those investor loans that we talked about. But I'm going to leave my information up here on the screen for a couple of minutes. Does anybody have questions on this wonderful Monday after Thanksgiving? And I'm just going to look really quickly and make sure nobody on Facebook has any questions. If I can find where we are located. Here we go. Find where we are located. Okay. Yes, I don't see any questions on Facebook. Any questions in Zoom? Usually they say when you don't have any questions, you've done a good job or you've done a terrible job. So I hope I've done a good job of giving you an overview. I will say there is a showmethemoneycourse.com, and I'm actually going to show it to you on the screen here. Showmethemoneycourse.com. If you come to showmethemoneycourse.com here, it'll take you to this free resource that we have, which includes all sorts of information in here about different kinds of funding that's available, from house hacking, forgivable grants, additional dwelling units, rentals, how to fund multifamily, rooming houses, low down payments if you're buying with your college bound children, your aging parents, ground up construction loans, fix and flip loans, sober houses, group homes, as well as little known strategies that are available to you. So there's a wealth of information in here. It's completely free for you to get this resource, showmethemoneycourse.com. You're able to sign up for free, and you are able to take the modules that you need based on the portfolio that you're looking to build. So I wanted to make sure you know about that as well. And if there are no questions, I'm going to head out for the evening. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. Have a blessed evening, and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.